Hello folks, I'm Mitchell Smits, President of Extreme Outdoor Products. Today I will show you and explain to you how to set up the Eliminator Pro Elite, also the Extreme Rear Sight. The Extreme Rear Sight works in conjunction with your own front sight. Both of these sights completely eliminate the use of the peep sight. That dreaded awful thing that you've been hating for years and been looking for a better way to get rid of it. We will also show you during this video how to set the sights up, how to mount it to the bow, how to sight it in, and we'll cover each different pin configuration. I will show you how to convert the sight from left-handed to right-handed. I will show you how to change the different pin configurations just by using the one unit. Also on this video you will be able to see some different hunts that with the sights being used out in the field. A couple of different hunts, black bear hunt killed in Canada, and also a 150 class killed in Ohio by Tommy Martinaire with open season. You'll also see a 100-yard shot by Neil Lambert using the Eliminator Pro. At the end of this video, you'll be able to see some different links to our friends and our sponsors. We're sponsored by Matthews, Limb Saver, Morrell Targets, and also Starflight, the maker of the fobs. And I will show you the use of the fobs and explain those to you as well. So also at this time I would like to thank our veterans for giving us this opportunity to be here today. I would like to thank you for the sacrifice you have made for our country and the sacrifice that your family has made. I know it's a big sacrifice because I'm a vet myself. Also, I'd like to give thanks to our Lord above. So here in just a second, we'll get started and I will take you through the vertical pin configuration first. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the video. Hi folks, I'm Mitchell Smits, and now in this segment of the video, I'm fixing to show you actually how to mount the sight, the Eliminator Pro Elite, and get it sighted in, get it adjusted to your anchor point. As you can see, I have a bow with no sight. There's the Eliminator Pro Elite. This one still has the mounting screws in the riser. Alright, one thing you want to make sure of when you're doing this is you don't need to cross thread the riser. So when you're putting your mounting screws in, and as you can see, I don't have a vise. I'm mounting it pretty much just like you would be mounting. Alright, first thing I'm doing is I'm making sure that I got enough distance between the back of my bracket and the cables. I could actually slide the sight back some, but I really don't need to. Alright, so now I'm fixing to put the mounting screws in. Now like I said, when you're doing this, you want to do it with your hand first, get them started. That way nothing's cross-threaded, because if you cross-thread them, you got problems. Then we're going to snug them down. Now, one thing you need to know about these sights, especially when it comes to the horizontal pin configuration, but the vertical too. The way these parts are machined, you got dovetails. You got mating dovetails. This end's dovetail, and also the crossbar is dovetail. So all you got to do is snug that screw. If you torque them down too much, I have had customers to actually break the ears off this main mounting bracket because they over torqued them. Same way here. When you mount these, when you mount the horizontal pins and you're adjusting them, I'll show you right quick. When you're adjusting these, if you over torque these screws, it's going to actually cut into the metal. All you got to do is snug them. Every screw that I make is made to fit the holes. So all you got to do is snug them. You don't need to over torque them. And that's with any of them. In this case, a little bit will do. Okay, now we just mounted the sight to the bow. So next thing we're going to do is I'm going to adjust that rear pin for my anchor point. Now, the difference between you and I is I've been using this sight long enough that I can pretty much know where the rear tail section needs to be to get it to my anchor point. But with yourself, you're going to have to play with it, and like I said, when you do it, you're going to actually have to center the rear pin up with your peep sight to do this. Alright, I think I'm pretty close. Now all I'm doing is I know my rear pin, the way I anchor, needs to be on the outside of the bowstring. So it needs to be to the left side of the string for me, for my anchor. And in a second, I'm going to draw back just like I want you guys to do to ensure that that pin is where you want it. I'm close right there. Alright, right now what I'm doing is checking the rear pin to make sure I've got it set where I want it. One other thing that's a neat idea with this, I'd like for you guys, when you're doing this, just go ahead and take your front sight completely off. The reason being, at this point, I want you concentrating on the rear pin. The front sight's not going to matter. Now, also, if you'll notice, I'm knocking the arrow. When you're doing this and you're drawing your bow back, it's best to knock an arrow and draw back with it loaded in case you do happen to fire the bow by accident. Just make sure you're in a safe place when you're doing this. What I'm doing now is I'm going back to my anchor and I'm checking that rear pin to make sure that it's where it needs to be. Now, I'm at my anchor point. I think the rear pin needs to come down just a touch. So, I'm fixing to lower it just a touch, and then I'm going to check it one more time. And if I do this correctly, we ought to be able to mount the front sight back on and sight in. It makes it easier if you got a person to help you when you're doing this, but you can do it by yourself. Okay. Let's check the height adjustment. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just checking my height adjustment. Alright, I think it's there. So what I'm fixing to do now is I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to draw back. And I'm going to hit my anchor point. When I open my eyes up, I ought to be able to see through that rear pin with no problem. If I can't, I'm going to adjust it till I can. Okay, I think we're going to give it a try. Now, what I'm fixing to do is I'm fixing to slide my front box assembly back on. And I am going to shoot more than one pin, more than one yardage. So, what I'm fixing to do now is I'm fixing to slide this over. And you can do it like this. You can sight down your arrow and then just glance at where your pins are to see if they're lined up or not. That'll get you close. It's kind of like bore sighting. And if you pinpointed your shaft on a small target, it'll really help out. And basically when you start shooting, you'll pretty much be sighted in. Alright, now that I've lined the front box up, with my rear pin. I've got the bottom pin lined up in the Y. Like I said,